suppose this one's sort of like an ars poetica. It's about writing. Content. The afternoon was late as I sat in the wing-back chair absorbing the evening that filtered through the tall pines. I was wrapped in twilight, my fingers on the keyboard making the only sound in a silent house. They spoke like an orator, with command of their articulation, never needing to backtrack. It's my mind that stops and returns while my fingers wait for the moon to become pregnant, dilated, laboring to deliver my children so that my fingers may leave impressions on a field of white. There's another, thank goodness there's no more winter poem. Entombed. There is no reason to intubate the dead landscape with its bony fingers gnarled and brown, aged hands curled into rheumatic claws. The cold is obvious. Days cracked like ice on a pond that is no longer safe near the center. Still, there are those who will walk out, fall into the mirror of winter. I refuse to step into that illusory glass, too aware that her edge could slit my throat and my words exposed too soon would freeze. Inside, wrapped in chenille, I feed embers and gestate. Laid out in a baptismal gown, winter is not innocence in wait for April's holy waters. Snow is a sheet pulled over her vacant eyes. People fall prey to the sterile beauty, believe in Courier and Ives postcards created by propagandists who conceal the site of her necrosis behind the saccharin of a frosted countryside. In a few months, daffodils will nod their heads beneath the sun, their yellow cups proof of reincarnation. Even the daffodils know winter is nothing but a cadaver. 8? Really? All right. Listening just after midnight. In early morning hours, your step drifts across the night-lit room like a butterfly landing on wind-whispered petals. Each footfall lays soft, the padding of a cat's paws on nocturnal prowl, the coy flutter of lashed lids, the reverence of the voice in silent prayer. I could, but instead priorities. I could write about Rachona, childhood days spent on the Adriatic watching soft-shell crab imprint patterns in the sand, assisted by the power of May winds, but instead, I write about the red glow of the tip of your cigarette, its light a bouncing ball, marking the syllables of your words in the dark of a thick northeastern August night. I could write about the scarring of Berlin as a divided city, exploring Kupferstein, stopping to rest within the bell tower rooms of the Gedenkenskirche. But instead, I write about installing a ceiling fan perched together on a precariously propped ladder, singing harmonies like two oblivious, warbling songbirds. I could write about the train from Munich to Bologna, stopping to draw a cool breath, awed by the still dusted massives and Italian Alps. But instead, I write about how you lather with white ivory soap from head to toe until you are frosted, a snowman with amber nugget eyes and no scarf. I could write about the Deutsche Oper, but instead, I write about the incredible peace of listening to you sing karaoke on a late fall Cape evening. Discontent. Let us not be deceived. We are all in the midst of a Cold War. Bernard Brooke. I was 6 when you left for Vietnam. The ground was not yet frozen, but the air hung with icicles, sharp as daggers in winter, closed around us like a vice. The word war meant nothing to me then, but the grip of cold I understood. Wind whistled frosty breath, trademark of an Iowa winter, buried the dead landscape between drifted mountains of white. Washington heard the pounding of thousands of feet, yet in Vietnam, forests were falling, leaves stripped by Agent Orange, bodies and hearts mixed blood with monsoons, colored the mud red. Village women offered you soup in small bowls without a spoon. I ate fish sticks with tartar sauce at a kitchen table. You drank from the bowl, bottom to dirt, knees to shoulders, shirtless, grenade belt draped around your neck, while I walked 4 blocks to the first grade classroom, afraid to pass a house 2 blocks down. They told me the man there owned a rifle. Winter did not leave us until you were home in more than words in a letter. You brought me a Vietnamese doll, black braids, pink silk dress, plastic high heels, feet nailed into a wooden square. She was stoic behind red painted lips. Spring arrived, lilacs bloomed, we were among love. I wrote that one after I lost my Uncle Ken. It's been over 2 years ago now, but on the way from the funeral home, my dad was telling me about this photograph he has of my uncle, sitting with these women dressed as I depicted him, and the poem sort of came. But what struck me the most at 6 years old, and more so later when I got older, is that despite what he had been through, he didn't forget one of his nieces and nephews, and brought something back for all of us, so that stuck with me. Dormant. It's forsythia, she says in her hesitant speech. Into the gap between each word, the little yellow flowers refuse to bud within the winter of her past. Fragile. It's a small area, just in the pocket of your cheek, and in that spot, the skin is far younger than the suffering that has gathered its years beneath the rim of your eyes. I want to place my thumb there, feel the youthful exuberance clamoring for exit, recognize the little boy who still prays in Hebrew even when the man speaks trauma in riddles and refuses to believe there are options except to drift and glide into the numbness of depression. And I wonder if the slow circle of my thumb could release the banished child. Would he grant me my wish before you darkened his eyes and stifled his tongue? You pull your cap down low before my hand can reach out, disappear into the silence of the room as tears fall and shatter like glass. One more or one? Asana. I lay Shabbat this morning, and like a corpse, I sank into the earth, decayed and became lone. I was seed that sprouted, was blessed by the rain, grew stem